Hi, I'm Todd, the owner of Dakota Angler here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, with this week's 2-minute fishing report. Well, folks, Mother Nature has kind of cooperated for the most part the past week and gave us plenty of opportunities to hit the lakes and the river, and a lot of people have done that despite the whole COVID situation. And by the way, I hope all of you remain healthy, and you and your family continue to do so in the coming weeks, and that's my hope and prayer for all of us, quite honestly. But as far as the fishing report is concerned, it's been getting better. It's been really dependent on the weather, quite honestly. But up in the northeastern part of the state, the lakes have produced walleyes the past week, and I'm only going to highlight a few. Bitter, Blue Dog has been probably the hot pick up there right now. Wabe, Goose, Indian Springs, a few being caught there. Dry Lake by Clark, and then also Enemy Swim. And Enemy Swim's kind of the dark horse in the whole thing. Down the southeastern part of the state, Thompson has really started to pick up, as well as Ponset. Albert, 81 Ponds, Twin, which is a trophy lake, and that's been doing really well. The biggest problem there is just finding a spot at the boat ramp. And then other lakes include Campbell, which you have to sort quite a bit to find those keeper fish, and then also Madison, and then Brant. And this is not even to mention the Missouri River. The Missouri River has been doing very well lately, from boat especially. A lot of guys are using jigs and minnows, as we've talked about in previous weeks, and now more and more guys are starting to pull plugs like the Selma Hornets seem to be doing the trick, or even the Berkeley Flicker Shads that seem to be doing quite well. If you're fishing the Missouri River from shore, during the day, a lot of guys are using crappie rigs, jigs and minnows, and then at night, guys are throwing Rapalas like the floating wraps, or any other type of shallow running plug has worked out well to catch them at night. Other than that, folks, the main thing is it looks like the spawn is about, I would say, 50 to 60% complete. I think the next week is going to probably start tailing off a little bit, but the bite over the next week should still remain quite well as the spawn continues. So again, keep that in mind in the coming weeks. In this week's edition of Todd's Tackle Tips, we're going to talk about something you can't control, and that's the weather. And that's one thing that this weatherman can tell you, is that I have no control over the weather. But honestly, folks, we can start to really minimize the impacts that the weather has upon us, especially when we're fishing. How can we do that? Well, the main way the weather affects fishing is through pressure, through the air pressure. When the pressure is the highest, honestly, at that point in time, the fishing becomes the most difficult because the fish feel full. They hug the bottom. They're basically lethargic. And the only thing that you can do to increase your success rate at that point in time is to go look for those more aggressive fish. And that's usually with the smaller walleyes at that time. But that's why a lot of people will start trolling, whether or not you're pulling plugs, pulling bottom bouncers and spinners, all the different ways to cover more water when you're out there in the boat to really minimize the impacts that the high pressure has upon the fish at that point in time. When the pressure is lowest, again, at that point in time, the fish are hungry, they're on the prowl, they come to you. And so you could be jig fishing, you could be using slip bobbers, you don't really need to have any specific presentation in mind, because they're on the prowl, they're hungry, they're on the feed. So they'll keep that in mind. And it's not just a certain value, it's the tendency of that pressure. Is the pressure continuing to go up, or is it falling at that point in time? Don't get hung up on a specific value. The other thing to keep in mind is that if you don't have any way to measure pressure, you can also always look at the wind. If the wind is out of the south, in some components, southeast, southwest, or out of the south, the pressure is falling. If the wind is out of the north or northwest, the pressure is going to be rising. Also, look at the sky. If you're dealing with a crystal blue sky, hardly any clouds in the sky, you're probably dealing with a very high pressure day, and the fishing is going to be rather difficult at that point in time. If there's a lot of clouds around, that's usually a low pressure day, and the fish will be on the feed. So again, keep those things in mind, and that will help minimize the impacts that the weather can actually have on your success when you're on the water the next time. So again, this is a basic rule. There's always exceptions to it, but again, something good to put in your toolbox. Now it's time to take a look at a few photos that you sent in to me this past week. And remember, folks, if you'd like your photo included in next week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report, please send it to me. Send it to Todd at DakotaAngler.com, or post it to our Facebook wall. And if I use your photo, your name will be entered into a monthly drawing for a $25 gift certificate. And before we end this week's report, I want to remind you that our hours here at Dakota Angler remain unchanged. They're open from Monday through Friday, 7 to 7, Saturday, 6 to 7, and then on Sunday, 6 to 6. Also, don't forget about shopping with us on the web. If you don't want to stop by the store because of the virus situation, or you just can't make it into Sioux Falls, check us out on the web, dakotaangler.com, because all our inventory that you see here in the store is listed on our website, and we'll deliver it to you by the next business day or two. So again, don't forget to shop online, or better yet, stop here at the store. If you have any questions, give us a call at 605-336-9132. Well, folks, that's this week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report. For Dakota Angler, I'm the owner, Todd, and as we say around here, fish on! We'll see you next time. And again, thanks for watching.